All right, welcome back everyone. Dr. Ben, not a real doctor here, and today I want to give you some tips on how you can make the most out of your stretching routine. All right, before we actually get started, today is Memorial Day, so I just want to take a minute to remember the men and women of our military who did not come back. That's what Memorial Day is for, is to remember our military members who gave their lives in the service of the country. I know grilling and all that is a big part of it, but I try to keep that in perspective. Grilling's great, but just take a few minutes to remember our military members who didn't come home to their families. Anyway, seriousness aside, all right, let's get right into it. So, stretching can do a lot to improve your flexibility, but there are ways you can approach it to get more from your stretching than just running through a bunch of stretches and hoping that your flexibility improves. So I'm going to give you 7 little tips to use that can help improve your flexibility and make your stretching routine more effective. First, and this one's really important, don't rush your stretches. I remember in gym class we used to run through 15-20 stretches, hold each one for 10 or 15 seconds, and that was it. You're not really going to get much out of that. In order to improve your flexibility, you need to be holding those stretches for at least 90 seconds. So 90 seconds to 2 minutes is what you're looking for to improve your flexibility. This gives enough stimulus for your muscles to adjust and relax, and your nervous system to remember that it's okay to be in that position. Next tip, stretch often. Stretching once a day, in a big stretching routine is good, but it's even better if you can spread your stretching out throughout the day. Try and stretch a little bit every hour. You'll see a huge improvement. That often frequent stimulus will cause your body to adapt much more quickly. So in the same vein of stretching often, try and focus on just a few stretches at a time. You don't have to stretch your whole body every single time you stretch. Pick 2 or 3 stretches and then do those every hour, every 2 hours. Focus on that, improve that flexibility in that small area, and then pick a couple different stretches and move on. This way, over time, you're hitting your whole body and you're making small incremental improvements all the time. All right, tip 4, remember to keep it safe. Do not force the stretch. That tension you feel when you're stretching is important. It's there. It's your body telling you that I'm not comfortable in this position. If you start forcing past that, the stretch reflex is going to get even tighter and tighter, and you run the risk of straining muscles or even spraining joints if you stretch hard enough. This is especially dangerous with your back. Your spine is a very complex system of joints, and when you start forcing things where one joint can't move, another joint has to move extra. So get to a place where you feel a light stretch and then just hold that. Over time, your muscle will relax and you'll be able to move a little further into the stretch. Just maintain that light stretch feeling for the amount of time you want to stretch. Something that can really help keep you from forcing a stretch is using bolsters. So say you want to work on your, we'll say, middle splits, and you can't really get into that position very well. Sitting on the floor and setting your legs apart to stretch doesn't really work, and you can't just kind of stand up and spread your legs to the side to stretch your inner thigh. That's all right. Get a cushion and sit on the cushion and then open your legs to stretch your inner thigh. Or get a chair and sit down on the chair. Find a way to get into that stretch without forcing the position. Cushions work, pillows work, stools, yoga blocks, all these things you can use to get into the stretch position better without getting yourself into a compromising, injury-risking position. Okay, so you've finished up stretching, you've opened up your joints and improved your flexibility. What do you do now? Move through that range of motion a little bit. If you just spent 10 minutes opening up your hips, don't just go back to your chair and sit down. Do some squats, do some lunges, set your feet apart and shift your hips from side to side. Use that new range of motion so that you can strengthen your muscles and further condition your neurology to make it okay to be in that position. And last tip, this is another safety concern, don't do a lot of stretching before maximal effort lifts. If you're gonna go do a 1 rep max on a deadlift or a squat, don't do a whole bunch of stretching to open up those joints. When you open up a joint, you've moved into a new range of motion. It's a range of motion where your muscles are not going to be very strong and your joints won't be very stable. This isn't a huge concern if you're going for a walk or if you're going to do a few body weight lunges. But if you're going to load up 500 pounds on a deadlift bar and try and pick that up and set a new PR, you do not want instability in your joints. So for max effort lifting, save the stretching for another time. Keep your joints stable and healthy when you're pushing it that hard. All right, there you go. 7 tips to help take your stretching to the next level and improve your flexibility and build your mobility. Do you have any tips that you like to use to improve your stretching? Share them in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe. It helps me keep bringing you content. And don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time, keep your life in motion.